important that you are good and every day, and you can make it every way, every day.
Getting ready to go, Fujo? Seems like Irving has a pretty big Christian population. Something about this neighborhood I think is really beautiful. It's a beautiful little neighborhood. Shadows right here are really pretty too. The content of the matter and going right just for cinema. Look at the angling of this hill. It's amazing. I like the sign right here though. It's saying slow 5 miles per hour. It's amazing. Thank you. You can kind of see the angling of this hill right here. I'm in Las Colinas, the hills of the ranch. And you can kind of see right here, there's an angling going down that way. There goes that car. You can see there's hills all over the place. Very hilly. Yeah, I'm basically listening to a band called Tugboat. Right here, if you can kind of see it. Galaxy 500. And kind of whispering in the microphone. Sounds a little like The Cure, maybe. Leave a comment. This is another anti-cinematic or cinematic kind of shot. I guess you go both ways on it, really. Just can be like anti-cinematic. More kind of a cinematic kind of shot kind of thing. Oh, that's a nice sky. It was funny, one time Linda was leaving and she said, well, she got in the car and I guess she was kind of upset because it's a long story, but one time she was leaving and I remember now, I had cooked some chicken. And I was cooking on the oven, and one time she said, she looked at me and she was in the car and she was driving off, and I said, so where are you going? And she kept driving. She goes, eat it. I guess she was talking about the chicken because I just made chicken, and she was running off. And she came back. I told her about it. She thought it was really funny because she was like, she rolled the window down and she was like, eat it. She was talking about the chicken. Because we were cooking chicken. True story. It's amazing how big that Popeye sign is. But they have a chicken sandwich for $3.99. But you can also get a 9-piece chicken for $11.99. It does remind me of True Detective. But anyway, that's a wrap. If you don't know about my channel, please subscribe. That's the way that you can help me, is by subscribing. Also, you can leave a comment on what you think about the show. And don't forget about the identifying bell, because then you know when the next one is going to come through. Also, one more thing I wanted to say is a big thumbs up helps. Really does. Me and Fujo, we like to write things down, and we appreciate if you do something, we'll write something good about you, maybe. I don't know if that makes any sense. But anyway, have a good one. Good night.
So,
The heck is this
I don't
thing
think
doing?
these plants are really used.
That's very strange. Okay, what were you asking? What were you asking again?
And in fact, yesterday when I went to work, there was
What
still
factory he works at?
around, but when I got home last night, it was all gone.
What were you asking?
And actually, when I got out of work,
I was just
last
saying,
night, I remember
does he have
walking out the door,
rhoshisia, or how do you say it?
last week or so.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Maybe he got
I think-
sunburned, maybe he
I
was
think it's
sleeping.
the lighting.
Instead of
Or
saying
he's
that
alcoholic.
some of my friends at work.
He's not an alcoholic.
How do you know? You don't live with him.
Short pants weather.
No,
As it was. I mean, it
he's
was-
just
it was still
he's
pretty
just a
cold.
normal
It was
guy.
probably
Came from
upper
California.
40s,
And
but considering
he's here in basically,
you walk outside,
you know, Texas.
I'm sorry you're offending your boyfriend.
That's a big
Sorry.
difference, and it was noticeable.
I don't even know him.
Seemed to have weathered
I
pretty
don't
well.
know.
What are you talking about? I have no idea who the guy is.
A lot of
He's
my
just-
friends
he's in
talked
Waco.
about, how they had power outages that lasted for, 8, 10, 12, 15 hours, and you couldn't use it. There have been, orders to boil your water, for basically.
You think he's
last
hilarious?
week Because
He's just.
they
What?
never ran into any of that stuff.
Oh, come on, I don't want to be friends.
Where, nothing was available.
Hey, Jordan the Lion. Roar.
No, this is.
We're just joking.
Oh.
We're just joking.
What's his name again?
So that's been kind of-
No, that's Breck. Breck Roll.
Oh, okay.
It's pronounced Breck Rowell.
From work last night, hoping maybe they'll have something.
Rowell.
But I went
Or
to the
roll. I would say
refrigerator
roll.
section there, and there was nothing there. So I decided my best chance to maybe get a little milk, which is really all I want right
So we
now
got
is to
3
get some
boyfriends.
milk.
Jordan the Lion. Adam
They're
the
just
Lion.
freaking vloggers.
I figured
What difference does it make? Yes, he says his name on every single episode. He says Breck Roll. I said Rowell. He says Roll.
Like
jumped
roll.
in the microwave,
Yeah.
hopped in the car, went over to HEB,
Anyway.
and they weren't open. So
that's right.
turns out
Okay, so he's
it
bread.
Welcome to Be on the Please Subscribe show. Fine, it's fine.
Well, I never signed that paperwork that
I actually got to go over and
signed.
get some more things, but the priority was milk, and I think what I need now.
No, she did.
Really like smell.
What's wrong with getting milk?
Right?
Nothing's wrong getting milk.
Yeah, could be lucky.
Well,
enough
if
to
you're,
have those diet.
oh, don't, if you're vegan,
Other than that, though, we seem to.
What's wrong with getting milk?
Nothing's wrong with getting milk.
But what do you say about milk?
Milk, calcium, vitamin D.
No,
I
but
don't
you said
know.
something. I would be getting what?
I'd be getting beer or water. Girl, man, worried about going to the store to get milk? That'd be my last concern. Maybe
There's
canned
nothing wrong
corn
with
and
getting
vegetables.
milk.
I never said that.
Snow on the ground.
There's nothing wrong with getting milk.
It was all gone.
Milk is good. You get it put in cereal. I like milk.
I'd rather have orange juice or maybe one in milk for cereal. I don't know.
For the last.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I never said there was.
What is the deal with milk anyway? Like, why would anybody even care if you got milk? It's like in Clockwork Orange.
So much about it for us to not give a shit that he got milk.
No, I'm.
well, they torture the cows, so it's better to drink nut or soy milk.
So it's better to drink soy milk, but
Absolutely.
Oh, so regular cow milk probably was not in the grocery stores, but did he do a take about how much soy milk and almond milk was in the store?
what's wrong with milk?
That's a good point.
It's a torture
Mom.
for cows. They
Yes, it
take the
is.
calves away from their mothers so people can.
But people drink milk.
I know, but it's cruel.
Previous days,
That's why vegans. Why do you think vegans are non-dairy?
Mom's a vegan.
But to protect the cows.
But we seem to have weathered it pretty well. A lot of people.
I don't know. I think milk's okay. Whatever. I mean, if you want milk,
A lot of my friends were
you don't. Do you like milk, sweetie?
I drank plenty enough as a kid. I don't really care for it right now.
So a lot of
Beer,
people,
water,
some people drink
orange
milk
juice,
for a
I like
lifetime.
soda.
Some people drink milk for a long time. Some people, I don't know.
I get my calcium from cheese in a different form.
Basically,
Ew,
the last
ewy,
week
I don't like the
because
texture.
apparently the cleaning systems weren't working very well. Never ran into
I
any
like
of that stuff. Never lost
almond
water.
milk
Never
and
lost power
soy
the whole
milk.
time we were
Soy's
here.
my favorite.
So-
Oh, what about oat milk? We have oat milk at my
I
job.
do.
Yeah, yeah.
I do. I like oat
It's
milk.
been that
I
the,
drink that.
Grocery stores.
All right, I'll bring you some milk tomorrow.
I'm sorry. This conversation has turned into It's turned into a milk mess. It's like there's no reason to cry over spilled milk. I'm pro
I'm
milk.
not crying over spilled
I have
milk.
no problem with milk. There's
I know
nothing
that
wrong with
makes you.
milk.
I'll cry over spilled beer.
Every once in a while, milk.
Vanessa.
You know, it does remind me of Clockwork Orange where they're just sitting there drinking milk. But I'm just thinking milk.
I do
It is
want
a
milk
little
with my cookies,
interesting.
though. I do want milk with my cookies.
Milk with cookies. Some things milk works
2 ounces, not 8 ounces.
of milk.
Correct. A cup of milk has 8 grams of fat. A grown adult does not need whole milk. That's too much fat. Or you
I
can
don't-
water it down on your own or get 2%, which is 5 grams of fat. Or you
I don't
get
think it's that
1%
bad.
of
I don't think it's that bad.
Yes, it is.
Where you know, nothing was available, and you couldn't get stuff. You know how much I like to drink milk, and I haven't had milk.
No wonder why a lot of people are lactose intolerant.
Go into the grocery
know?
store, it's gone.
Shouldn't
I went
have a
over to
store.
Walmart on the way
I ain't
home.
talking
Milk
about
does
shutting
run
down.
out. Milk will run out. They'll get the milk. People will get the milk. They will run out of the milk. I mean, like you go to the grocery store, it runs out of milk. Milk goes quick. So people do drink milk.
Just the way I am.
And then some don't. Some do, some don't.
Try and hit the local HEB was supposed to be open at 6 a.m. this morning, so I got up at 5:45, jumped into my clothes, hopped in the car, and went over to HEB.
He didn't brush his
They weren't
teeth.
open. So
He had to go get the milk.
They postponed their opening time till 7, so I ended up going back home, coming back at 7, and I did find some milk. So
I just want you to know I'm a sincere fan of Escaping the Mouse. I watch it all the time, especially the cooking shows.
So, you know, we're weathering
Escaping the Mouse.
and Texas is slowly
On the same level of Mr. Rogers.
Also wanted to give you continue to do well. These are my jalapenos. As you can see, they're
Bless you.
They're enjoying the sun. They're getting a little sun right now. Kind of worry about when you're in these.
It's funny because I was always like the vice president. I was vice president of the drama club in high school. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the lead actresses was actually the president. It was always kind of interesting. But I don't ever I never remember once if we ever really had an official meeting, because I guess we kind of had to have one for UIL, if you know what UIL is. But there was a theater group that was at the New School University in New York, and there was a president there, and we would go to meetings, the theater group there. But these club things are kind of weird, because sometimes people will say that they're in a club, but there's not really a club, you know? It's like they say they're in like a theater club or a film club, and they never even meet and show up. You know, it's like if people say, oh, I play Dungeons and Dragons, and they never even bring the dice, or they don't even show up to have a Dungeons and Dragons meeting, you know, or a Dungeons and Dragons official club kind of thing. You know, they just say that they're in it so they could be cool. You know, an organization is something where they meet like every day, or they talk every day, or they have some kind of communication every day. So there's a lot of clubs out there that seem to be clubs, but they're not even really anything. At least you have, you know, complete evidence that club meets every single day. It's just a bunk club or a fake club. A club just to be cool. Like the cool club never really ever met. It was uncool for the cool club to even gather and meet. You know, so there was a cool club, but no one ever did any type of organization on it. It was not an organized club. It was just called the Cool Club. That's kind of how our theater, I can't think of, there was one called Alpha Psi at Wesleyan, but there was a lot of theater groups. They actually were a pretty intense group, but I was only on the outside of it. I was never admitted to Alpha Psi at Wesleyan, which was a sorority or whatever. That was a theater group. I was always on the outside of that. I never passed the initiation. See, it actually says X right here. There's an E and an X right here. Gary Oldman is being interviewed. He's like, I don't know what green means. It's like, you know, I always thought he sounded kind of like Sid Vicious, but he's like, I don't know what green means. Yeah, Gary Oldman's one of my favorite actors, but what I thought was brilliant and very just, I mean, I guess you could say method in a way, was when he was playing Sid Vicious. And there's a scene where the lady that's playing Nancy, they're in the kitchen and they're playing with a I think she gets the vacuum out, but he's doing the dishes and he does this weird thing with his voice and she starts laughing at him like a G.I. Joe doll or something. You got to see it. It's pretty much the essence of like human behavior in that little moment. It's really cool. Sid Vicious is probably one of the best performances of the century. One of them, eventually. Well, I would say probably one of them, big time. Basically saying Normandy Village. You can read that sign. And this sign right here. You have this thing. This balloon goes down right here. These are actually pretty nice. It's called Old Hall Cemetery right here. This little gate section. A lot of names that are familiar, but it's pretty nice. The whole thing. It's not very big, but it's a pretty nice little thing right here. It's called. There's another thing called Old Hall Cemetery. So Old Hall, right there. They got all the names. This one actually has a photo right here. Going through all these, a lot of crosses, stuff like that. Then it skips over off a private drive, and it's called McCurley right here, or McCurley. There, pretty intense looking right there. Passing Jasmine and on Daffodil Road, the old school crime watch signs that you still see every once in a while. And Cactus is straight ahead over this way. Mostly Cactus right this way. Looks like you can visit a Murphy USA on Facebook. It's nice, all those little drinks and everything. I like how this electrical station goes into the fog right up here. Isn't that neat? Kind of fades off right here. Goes right into there. See it from here. Those letters right there are bleeding off. I guess from the many years of the rain. It almost looks like it's in shadow. And the font right here looks like shadow. You can barely see it from here. It's kind of bleeding off. It says Garden Ridge right here. When you go through it, you'll see. Out there, you kind of see the fog. Yeah, as you go through or you go closer, the fog dissipates. And then, you know, you can kind of see it here too. Still see the horses back there. You see there my ex-mother-in-law's favorite establishment for coffee. I like those fish, kind of mural, the textured mural. And there's over there's catfish over in that way. They're pretty cool. (1950), a man named Dobbs created what we know as Whataburger. Happened in the 1950s. In the 50s, Harmon Dobbs. Gary Oldman's quite brilliant. He did mention Tom Courtenay in The Last Butterfly, but he didn't say The Last Butterfly. But if you ever see a Tom Courtenay film, he's a British actor, see The Last Butterfly. It's one of the best films about the Holocaust and pantomime or mime. It's a brilliant film about a man taking care of children in a very, very horrible situation during the 1940s when there were concentration camps over in like Eastern Europe and stuff. And Tom Courtenay's actually, and Gary Oldman actually mentioned him. Corner Cafe. It's amazing, Gary Oldman actually was very obsessed with Taxi Driver, Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver, and saw it several times, and it changed his whole outlook on performance and everything. So De Niro actually affected him. Look how completely gloomy it is today. It's very gloomy. There's two half-mast flags right there. I didn't know Gary Oldman was a fan of Christopher Plummer. But anyway, this is like a really interesting thing because I passed two other flags and there were no half-mast, but there's half-mast on that one. Gary Oldman was talking about Christopher Plummer in this film that he played well, he didn't mention it, but Christopher Plummer played a rugby player. And if you know the name of that classic film, that was very Marlon Brando-esque performance by Christopher Plummer, I believe it's so. If I'm wrong completely, then leave a comment about the rugby player that he played. I think it was him. And please leave a comment and tell me what the name of that movie
You're
was.
thinking of This Sporting Life with Richard Harris.
It was a movie
This
about
Sporting
a rugby
Life.
player that is a wreck. He hangs out at bars and sees this odd kind of noir style woman and stuff. It's really interesting. I'm getting Christopher Plummer. I think I'm getting mixed up with someone else about the rugby player. Anyway, regardless, he's Canadian. This was probably a British actor, and I should know his name. I'm thinking of Gary Oldman right now. I'm listening to Gary Oldman. But he played a rugby player, kind of like Albert Finney, a little bit like Albert Finney. If it was Albert Finney, then I'm sorry for the mix-up. This was not a Christopher Plummer film. Good thing I didn't know the title of it. It's a rugby player, black and white, has like a one-name kind of thing. He gets involved with a woman that was a widow or something, and he ends up kind of hurting her on accident. Played a rugby player. The actor's name was a Shakespearean actor from the BBC. It's basically a Marlon Brando-esque Albert Finney type of performance where he's a rugby player, black and white, British, BBC, British broadcast kind of person. He was an actor, and it was a black and white film. He was a rugby player, kind of a drunk, very Albert Finney. Find the actor. He was in a bunch of Shakespeare stuff. BBC. Put in the comment the actor's name. I do not think it was Christopher Plummer, but it was an actor, and it was a classic film when Marlon Brando was doing the whole method style acting, and it affected the BBC, and it got a big kind of accolades for like method acting in Britain or in the UK. And there was a rugby player. Find that actor and put a comment.